My name's Margot and I am the CEO and founder of Home of Hope in Liberia. Liberia is an incredibly poor third world country on the west coast of Africa. During my time working at the Mission Hospital in Liberia, I came across many young ladies who, on discharge from the hospital, had no safe place to go. Many were living on the street, sometimes in swamps or abandoned buildings. Often they would have children with them. They would do whatever they needed to do to survive. There was also women who were living in situations of domestic violence, and they had no choice but to return to that place because they simply had nowhere else to go. In January 2022, I was called to see a patient on the maternity ward, and I met 16-year-old Princess. Princess was an orphan and she had no siblings and really no family support. She was living with her boyfriend and she inevitably got pregnant. When she got pregnant, the boyfriend actually left her, he abandoned her, and she then had nowhere to live. Princess would sleep wherever she was able, often on the street. Sometimes she would get a night's sleep on a friend's couch. She knew that she had no money for a hospital birth for her baby, so when she went into labour, a friend was helping her, and the labour was very long and hard labour, and it got to the point where her friend realised that Princess was really in trouble, and so she said, even though we have no money, I have to take you to the hospital. So her friend brought her to the hospital and Princess needed an emergency caesarean section. Sadly, her baby daughter had already died, but Princess lived. Since she had no money to pay the hospital bill, she wasn't actually allowed to leave the hospital. So after sitting on that ward for a month, that's when I was called to see her to see if there was something we could do to help. So I went and saw Princess with my Liberian friend Annette, who was the social worker at the hospital. And our hearts broke for Princess. I just actually sat on the bed with her and held her while she sobbed. She was grieving the loss of her daughter and she was just desolate, alone, with no hope for any sort of future. So we managed to raise the money to pay for her hospital bill, but there was nowhere safe we could send her. And that was the day that Annette and I decided we need a home. So in January 2022, we started fundraising for Home of Hope Liberia. And in May, we opened our doors to our first guests. In Home of Hope, we provide food and clothing and shelter. When they come to Home of Hope, they usually arrive tired, sick, depressed, traumatized. And the first thing we want to do for them is show them that we love them and value them. One of the important things we provide is trauma healing classes. All of our girls come in having experienced trauma, and this is really important for them. We also provide vocational training so that when they leave the home, they have some means of bringing in an income for themselves and any children they might have. I've told my staff that the most important thing we need to do with our girls is to share the gospel with them. And so our girls, they do devotions every day. They all have to go to church on Sunday and Bible study on Wednesday. And we are teaching them that they are not forgotten by God. They are not forgotten by the world. They are valuable. They are worth helping. Our girls usually spend about 3 months with us at Home of Hope, and then when they leave us and go back to the community, we do continue to help them. So we give them a mattress and a cooking pot, and we give them some supplies so that they can start their own business, and we help them find a room to rent, and we stay in contact with them to make sure that they're successfully reintegrating into the community. So we now have our third group of girls at Home of Hope, and they have gone from being hopeless to having hope. We want to keep Home of Hope going as long as we can, and to do that, we need your help. Home of Hope is run almost completely on donations, and we need ongoing support so that we can keep doing what we're doing with these precious girls.